All right, welcome back. So let's dimension this drawing. So in order to dimension, we want to first set up how the dimension lines are going to look like. And I think I like how these look like. And although just one thing, we might want to remove the witness lines. You see these lines that will go all the way up. I think we may want to use without the witness lines. So let me select all of the dimensions, which we can do by selecting dimension and say Ctrl A to select everything. And now they have been selected, and we will choose witness lines. This one here is what you actually need. Okay, and make sure that you have it picked by alt clicking, or the pickup parameter here, and have it selected. So now we want to add in dimensions, and there are two methods. You can draw them manually, which is by just going in there with the dimension tool selected, and then you say this and that and perhaps that, and then you double click to place the dimension line. But that's not definitely what I'm going to do. I want to use automatic dimensioning, and then we can go ahead and refine those dimensions. So we will do that by first of all selecting the elements that we want to dimension, which are going to be the walls, which are the structure elements. So under design, we pick the wall tool, Ctrl A to select all walls. And now that they have been selected, then we go to document, and then we say annotations, and then we head over to automatic dimensioning, and then we have something here called exterior dimensioning. And with that selected, you can see that we have a few things going on here. First is the overall dimension. You can see dimension 1, which is the overall dimension, and that is critical. Next is the dimensioning of external geometry. So those will be the geometries that will be protruding. That's still fine. And the dimensioning the structure, that will be the walls, which is good. And then as well, openings, the doors and windows, okay, which will be totally fine for us. And then next is how we are going to actually dimensioning those openings. So we can see we have an option for dimensioning the center line, which I don't think is a good idea, but by the end points will be a nice one, because people can know how thick, how large the opening actually is. Okay, and then we can leave everything the way it is, and then dimension walls by the outer face. I think that we do not want to dimension the core only, because that will neglect the finish that we added on the walls. Okay, so 500 is the distance between every dimension. Maybe we may make it a little bit bigger. I like to make it like 800, and then be sure to also check on place dimension on all four sides, such that we can have it on all the four sides. And then we say okay, and then in order to place, we first draw a vertical or horizontal line, or to click on the line parallel to the side you want to dimension. So in my place, I'm going to click that, and then I can go ahead and click where I need the dimension is going to be, and you can see that everything has been dimensioned automatically, and that's what we definitely need. So you can see that we have first the overall, second we have this geometry like this 9.5, and then this 1 meter offset, and then we have the walls, which are showing you we have this 100 millimeter wall, this 100 millimeter wall as well there, and the 200 millimeter wall at the entrance, at the beginning point, and that extreme, which is really good. And just in order to add another dimension on this side, we may need to include as well the dimension for this thing here, which is the grid lines. So we might want to delete this one, and I will bring, I think we already had a dimension for this somewhere here. I don't know, I think we lost it. but it's fine. I can always pick and dimension them manually, so we can have these 4 parts and put them somewhere here. And of course, in order to have it uniformly distributed, I will bring it here and use this distance to offset it, the 800, okay, such that now these are uniformly spread out. So let's sort of balance where these elements are placed. And we forgot to select this one as well, so making sure that this is well balanced. And then we inspect what is happening as well here. We can see we have 600, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8 for these windows, and that 600, pretty good. And then we have the walls after that, and then we have this geometry of 1.3, and then after that I think we need to have the dimension for these grid elements. All right, we have it right there, and I'm gonna offset it by 800. And since it's on top of this other one, we want to select the other one and offset it. In order to select it, be sure to hover over there. You can see that the top one is the one which is going to be selected, so tap tab in order to select the second one. So I can take this one by 800 away. All right, so now we have ourselves these elements, which is this, that, and that, and we go ahead and bring this down here. Right, so now that side is done. We inspect this other side. We can see 600, 1.8, 1.5, and then we have 200, 100. I think everything is good, and we need to, like we did before, leave space for these elements here. So we can actually make a copy of this, Ctrl+Shift+D, in order to drag this all the way to somewhere here. And in order to put it in the perfect place, I will offset it from here by the 800. Okay, so that's good. And then the front has a lot of stuff going on here. So here we have 300, and we want to have 300 here. And I do not think that we need to have this, okay? And, oh yes, so this is for the opening. So since this is for the openings, I do not think that we need this 300 in here. This wall needs to not be there, so we have 1.5 for this window and 620 before you get to the 2.4 for that door. Okay, so let's get rid of this 300. All right, so we have a much better dimension right there. We do the same for here, and as well, I guess somewhere here. Okay, so you can always click on those nodes and delete them to refine the dimension. Okay, so now let's also add in the dimension which is missing. And before we add it in, I think all of these dimensions need to move up a little bit, and then these need to move up by 800 to make way for the dimension here, which is supposed to be starting from here to there, to there, to there. Double click to finish and place it in. And in order to be specific, you can move this to here and move it backward by the 800. Okay, by the 800, and that is perfect. I like it. And that's how quick it is to actually dimension. And you could do the same for the interior dimensions like we have done. So if we have the wall selected and say Ctrl+A to select all walls, and then we go document and then say annotations, automatic dimensioning, and this time you can have the interior dimension, and once you click that, you choose whatsoever elements you want to have dimensions, and we want to have the outer faces dimensioned, and let's pick like a line across here. Okay, you draw a line, let's draw this line I hold down shift such that it's, you know, vertical. You can see this vertical line, and once I have done that, double click to finish, and then I place the dimension, and you can see we have ourselves that 200, 4.5, 100, 4.5, 200, and then we can complete this dimension by selecting it and hold down Control to add a node like this to specify that dimension, right? And instead of going through that trouble of what we have just done, we can always, you know, put those interior dimensions faster by just clicking on the wall. So if you click on one side of the walls, you can see that wall has been picked. Click here and there and there and finally here. So you can see that this is fast enough for the interior dimensions to actually do that. And commonly we do not dimension the exterior walls for the interior dimension, so you can go ahead and delete that if that's what you're into. You can actually select that and delete it such that it's entirely the interior that you're, you know, fascinated by and you want to see. And I think we, just before we go, we need to have also a dimension on this space here, because we need to know how far these elements are from you can see it's 200, then we have 7.5 before you get to that wall. All right, and if you wanted, you can also get rid of that. All right, so that's been how to quickly dimension, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.